So that's whether we allow a fight to happen in the session or not. Another question that could be raised here is, do we try and untangle the communication mess so that they can communicate better in this session, or do we try to bring them a bigger principle that might inform how they communicate in general? I had a session where they had a conflict at the beginning of the session, which was very informative. And the question was, do I try and help them to dissect what is happening in that conversation, like Esther Perel might, very insightfully usually, or do I go to something deeper, a deeper principle? And in one session, I felt that it was right to talk about our idolatries, our desires that conflict with God's, which inform the strategies that people use in conflict, whether they retreat, whether they attack, whether they feel condemned or accused. Very common. So we talked about idolatry. We talked about the fact that we are made to worship God. By nature, we turn to something else for our peace or our comfort or our contentment, things that only God can bring, which He has told us very plainly that we turn to rather than turning to Him. And when we say that, I mean turning to God is seeking Him and doing things His way. It's not just an intellectual assent to, I want God to help me. It is, what does God say I should do in this circumstance? And if you don't have that particular information, you do have, who does God want me to be in this situation? And we know He wants us to be Christ-like, to speak with patience and gentleness, not withholding the truth. Matthew 10 talks about all the different responses that the disciples would get when they went out to speak the truth. And that chapter ends with Jesus saying, I didn't come to bring peace, but a sword. And families will be divided because of me. Let's say because of the truth. And allegiances. If our allegiance is to God first, and people, particularly our family, second, then families will potentially be disrupted and even torn apart. I've spoken to not a small number of men who have said, I divorced my wife because I don't want to be the second person in this relationship. I don't want to be the second man in this relationship. I want to be the priority of my wife, and she is prioritizing God instead of me. So speaking the truth and being godly can produce massive fractures in relationships. And that sort of conflict is a different one, obviously, to two people banging heads. So the heart issues in those circumstances are the critical ones. In the couple I was talking about earlier, going to the heart issues of what they love and what they're trying to protect and their own strategy of protecting them was the most helpful thing they'd ever heard. They'd been to other counsellors and said no one else talks about the God stuff. Fortunately, God's Spirit was moving, and each of them were convicted of the ways that they had been conducting themselves. So God will direct you in the session as to what's the best way to go. If you pray for wisdom before a session, which you should, God will help you. He is good. And you will see redemption in marriages that you thought were unredeemable. He is a powerful and good God who loves His people. Trust Him. And call your conflicting couple with a challenge to do things God's way in submission to Him, to let go of their own strategy, which is destructive, and to trust Him for the power to do what is right. You will see marriages redeemed.